personal voice. Write the way you would talk to a friend when you're writing. Or if you're using a copywriter, make sure your copywriter is writing the way you would talk to a friend. Even in business to business. Even in business to business. Write as if you're talking to your friend. Hey, it's Alan here, and I want to talk about email. Email from this book, Marketing Made Simple by Donald Miller. Now, there are two different types of email. Only two different types of email. Two categories. And there may be other emails that I'm talking about now, emails that were sent from a company to another company, but anyone who filled in details on a landing page. There's two main types. One is nurture campaign, and it deals with both types in this book. One is nurture campaigns, and the other one is sales campaigns. There's only two types. Only two types of emails. Now, what should you deal with first? Well, both of them are important, but the first one you should deal with, the first one you should get ready, is your sales campaign. And your initial sales campaign can be 5, 6, 7 emails. And what's important about the sales campaign is that every email contains multiple calls to action. Multiple calls to action. So what do you want the person reading the email to do? And you've got to decide this beforehand. Do you want them to buy your product? Do you want them to buy a service? To buy your service, to buy into what you're doing? Do you want them to donate to a charity? Are you emailing doctors and you want them to get a free test from you? Is there another call to action that you want them to do? Maybe it's do a quiz, get onto a landing page, put the email address in. But whatever call to action you want them to do, this is what your sales campaign, your whole email is a call to action. Now, how do you create the email? What do you put in the email? This is a great question. It's a great question. And in order to do this and to get this ready, what you need to do is there's certain things that you need to do. And I do this. So, number one, subscribe to lots of other email lists. I did this with too many, to my personal email address. Because you want to see them coming in. You won't read most of them, but you want to see the subject lines. What subject lines do they put in? What has grabbed your attention? What has really captured your imagination from these emails that have come in, particularly from the subject line? The most important area. What subject line has made you read more, made you take action, made you read more of the email, even if you just read the first paragraph? Even if you're like me, and you are really busy, you don't have time to read emails, but you're scrolling through your emails and one that makes you stop for a few seconds. That's all we want these days. When you're posting social media, all you really want is people scroll. Oh, stop. Take a look at yours for a few seconds. A few seconds of attention isn't what we're looking for. A couple of seconds of attention. So, what subject lines have captured your attention in the past? What subject lines have made you stop? And what, most importantly, if this does happen to you, what subject lines have made you read the full email? And maybe even click on the link. But clicking on the link isn't about the subject lines, mostly about the content of the email. But what subject lines made you read the content of the email? So that's number one. Number two, and these are not in order. Write in a personal voice. Write the way you would talk to a friend when you're writing. Or if you're using a copywriter, make sure your copywriter is writing the way you would talk to a friend. Even in business to business. Write as if you're talking to your friend. What you would tell them in that tone of voice. Now, create your own tone of voice that you would normally use for your business. So some businesses have a, hey, we're fun kind of tone of voice. Obviously, other businesses like solicitors and accountants have to have a very serious, much more serious tone of voice. So you've probably decided that when you're doing your branding of your company, what your tone of voice is. So write in that tone of voice, but write as if you're talking to a friend mostly, if you can, which once it stays within your brand guidelines. So that's number 2. Number 3 is look at magazines, look at the headlines of magazines, headlines of newspapers, whatever app you have for news. Look at the headlines. What grabs your attention? Look at YouTube videos. What in YouTube videos makes you stop, makes you look, makes you think, makes you watch that video? What grabs your attention? Just be a collector of these items. Just collect them, put them in Evernote, whatever. What grabs your attention? What tone of voice grabs your attention? What subjects grabs your attention? Get them into Evernote. You can rewrite them in your own voice. And I'm going to say, lastly, they're not in this book, but it's a really great way. The last item in this book is he's saying, always be thinking, what value can I bring to my customer base, whatever it happens to be, whoever your customers are, what value can you bring to them? What useful tidbits can I bring? What of my industry knowledge? I know my industry. What about my industry can I tell people and give them my knowledge, help them out? And I'm going to add one in that's not in this book. I'm going to add one in. So imagine that you were talking to your best friend. Just imagine that you're talking to your best friend, and they need to buy something in your industry. They need to buy something in your industry. So wherever you happen to be, someone that you know what needs to buy something, but they can't buy it from you. They can't buy from you, but they do need to buy something in your industry. And they come to you and say, listen, I'm going to buy this thing in your industry. How do I know I'm making a good purchase? How do I know I'm making a good purchase? And if you would sit down with them and you say, well, okay, A, B, C, and D, that's how you know you're making a good purchase and you're protecting yourself and you're not wasting your money. You do these 4 things, 5 things, 6 things, whatever that happens to be. Now, if you can do that, that's your sales emails. That's your sales emails graded. That's your 5 main topics for sales emails. So you're talking to your friend. You care about them. You care about this person. And you want to make sure they're making a good purchase. Or whatever happens to be. It might not be a purchase. You may be a charity. You may be business to business where you want them to go and do something else. But you know they're going to take action. And you want to help them make a good purchase. Just like you would. The way you would purchase this item. I know people who are in the building industry and they know how to, they need to get people in, subcontractors, whatever, they know how to get great people. They know the ins and outs of the industry. I know people who are mechanics and if they're just too busy and, you know, if they want to maybe send the car off to someone else to get it fixed, they know what they want that person to do because they're in the industry. So you're in your industry. So you explain this. You explain this to your friend, how they make a great purchase. And that's your sales email. So it's been Al here. I just want to take you through quickly. The most important part of emailing, your first 5 or 6 emails should be your sales emails. And I think the most important part of this video is right at the end. Explain to your friend how to make a good purchase in this industry. And that is your sales emails. It's been Alan here.